Here's some pros and cons of public speaking. And you know, most speakers will never reveal to you the cons, but I'm about to. I hope you enjoy. Hey, I'm Jason Hewlett. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a Hall of Fame speaker and an award-winning entertainer. So if you're a parent, you're gonna love some of the things I'm about to say regarding the pros and cons of public speaking. And I'm about to share some of the cons of public speaking, one in fact that most people never talk about, and one that will be a bit controversial, so tread lightly. I hope you enjoy. So let's start with the pros of the speaking business and public speaking itself. The first one is doing what you love doing. That's the best. Imagine making a living doing what you are meant to do. When I share my message called The Promise, I truly feel that that is what I'm supposed to be sharing with the world. It's such a cool thing to know that I'm sharing that. So that is pro number one, that you get to share what you love with the world. Pro number two is, yes, influence and notoriety. Hey, that's a cool thing. Have you ever had the chance to sign an autograph? Have you ever had someone ask to take a selfie with you at the grocery store? Like, that's a surreal experience, and yet it's something that a lot of people aspire to. As a public speaker, you get the opportunity to have some fame and some notoriety in that sense. I remember as a kid thinking to myself, I need to practice my signature. I think in third grade, I practiced my signature at my desk. My teacher would say, "Why are you doing that?" And I'd say, "Because I'm going to be famous." And I was working on my signature. And I still use the same one today. Pro number three is that you can actually make a living. Isn't that cool? Make a living doing what you do by having influence, by speaking, by sharing your message, by doing what you're called to do. Imagine making a living doing that thing which you are supposed to be. I've been fortunate to make millions of dollars just by being on stages around the world. I wish I had a couple of other businesses that I dabbled in, and that would probably be smart for my long-term game. But I've made all of my money, all of my living on stage. It's a fascinating thing, and it makes me feel more confident and happy about my life because I have leaned into doing that which I'm supposed to do, which is be on stage. So one of the pros that a lot of people don't talk about is the amount of time you have for your family, and you call the shots. You see, it's the coolest thing in the world to know that I'm going to go speak over there in a couple of weeks, but today my son has a game and I can go to it. Or I can leave in the middle of the day and I can go work out or hang out with my wife or go do something with my children. That for me screams freedom, and I love that. That would be pro number four, that you have time for family. You have the chance to call the shots on what you want to do every single day. What a cool thing. So the fifth pro that I'm going to share is that you are one of the few if you actually make a living as a public speaker. It's incredible. There are so few of them out there. And you know, there are people that are coaches and that are authors and that do consulting and they teach other things and they have other ways of making a living. There are only a few of us that make a living only on stage being a public speaker. It's such a wonderful thing. It's a small club. And it's important for you to believe for yourself. If you think to yourself, that's what I want to be one of the few. Well, how can you get there? There are many different ways to do that. I especially believe that if you watch some of the other videos we've done about it, I help you in figuring out how you can make a career of it. But pro number five is, oh yeah, I'm one of the few. It's a special place to be. Hey, so before I share the cons of public speaking, I do so many videos about this. You need to subscribe to this channel. I hope that you will, because I'm sharing so many different ways that you can make a living at this, overcome your fear of it, fix your voice or help yourself through it. There's so many things we're sharing on this channel. I hope you'll subscribe. Okay, so we've talked about the pros of public speaking. There are a lot of them, and they involve a lot of things like freedom and money and having the ability to do what you're meant to do. Well, then there's a couple of cons to public speaking, and most people don't talk about this, especially people who make a living doing it. I'm kind of pulling back the curtain if that's okay, but I think it's important for you. That's why you found this video. The first con is that your hobby now becomes your profession. And when your hobby becomes your profession, everything changes around that hobby. For example, I used to just go and watch speakers or performers and I would sit there and enjoy it. I would just clap and laugh. Now I'm analyzing it. Now I'm thinking through every single way that they could have done it better or I could do it. And now it's become a thing where I'm watching them and I'm having my own inner challenge. And so when your hobby becomes what you do for a living, you kind of lose a little bit of the passion for it. It can happen unless you continually reinvent yourself and challenge yourself. But there are people and speakers that I know that have gotten into a place where as a speaker, they do the same thing every single time and on stage, and that one thing that was their hobby that then became their career now is no fun anymore. And so one of the great cons is to truly see it, that hobby turn into an expertise, turn into your profession. And if you want it to remain a hobby, how can you keep it fun? So con number 2 about public speaking is that fame is fleeting. You know, I talked about how cool it is to sign autographs and take selfies with people. That is a pro. But then there's the con to the fact that, you know what, I have to prove myself every time I take the stage. I have to be on at a lot of places where I may not feel like I want to be on, such as walking around the grocery store in my pajamas or eating a meal with somebody. So fame is fleeting in that, you know, if you're interesting today, you might not be interesting to anyone tomorrow. Fame is such a touchy subject for a lot of people because so many of us are trying to become famous, and yet if you've ever felt fame, it's really nice to step back and be like, ooh, I like my privacy. And so fame is truly fleeting, and it needs to be something where you say to yourself, I'm okay to be that famous and I'm okay to have people, you know, be around me all the time asking for things. But in essence, you get to a point where it becomes a con and you think, I wish I could have my privacy back. Con number 3 is feast and famine. If you're an entrepreneur, you know what this is about. You see, there's a feast and famine to every single thing, whether it's the season in the world and so forth. But when it comes to business, yes, if you're in real estate, you know that there are certain recessions you have to go through and fight through to be able to have the success once again. It's the same in public speaking. There is a feast, there is a famine, and often there's a lot of famine. Well, all that means is that there are conventions, there are speaking opportunities, but sometimes they don't choose you. And when they don't choose you, you start to wonder, am I still gonna make it? And so unless you're really good at investing or saving money or being prepared for the future, one of the greatest cons of the public speaking business is this feast and famine situation, especially if you have a family that expects something to be the same every single month in terms of income, in terms of the amount that they're expecting from you every single month. That can be scary. And so that's a true con of the speaking business. There have been seasons where, say, December, I would make nothing. But in April, I would make as much as I probably made the last 6 months. And so in April, I make all my money. The problem is, what did we do from December to April, right? And so if we don't save and plan ahead, if we're not careful, then the feast and famine can get us. There have been times throughout the career that I've had, things like September 11th happened in 2001, the recession in 2008, in 2020, the pandemic, all of a sudden all my gigs went away. That was an absolute famine time. And yet then there were the feast times as well. Usually the feast comes after the famine. That's what most people don't understand. And a lot of people quit during the famine. So try not to let that con get you and continue through the famine to the feast. Con number 4 is no security, no income, no health insurance, missing your children, and family occasions. Oh man, I've just bummed you out, haven't I? Now, think about that. Not having all of these things, it can be really freaky. Not having insurance when your kid gets sick, that's scary. Now you have to pay out of pocket. Not having the ability to go to some of their events, even though you, in the pros of speaking, you have all that good time. Well, in the con of speaking, you're locked into a date. And if your kid has something important on that date, now you have to go fulfill the contract for the client. That's a major con in that instance, even though you need the money, even though you want to be a speaker. And so, can the cons outweigh the pros? The pros outweigh the cons? It's up to you. But truly, you have to think about it that way. You might not have some income, you might not have benefits like somebody who works a normal job, but what are the benefits on the other side of it? And con number 5 is something I've never heard anybody talk about as a speaker, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. This is an extremely lonely business. Here's what I mean. I'm on an airplane, and then I'm renting a car. And then I'm going to the hotel, and then I stand up on the stage and I perform for thousands of people, and they love me, and I'm in the lights and standing ovation. And then I get off the stage and I go to the hotel room and back to the rental car and fly away. 23 hours I'm alone. I find that fascinating. You have to be okay with being alone, and we don't want to get to the point of loneliness, but it can. And con number 5 is truly that this is a lonely profession. That's why having peers, friends, associates, finding people in the city that you're at, having a family to come back to, those are really essential things for your mental health to be great while you're a performer. And so as you've heard about all of these pros and cons, maybe you're sitting there thinking, man, maybe this isn't for me. I thought it might be. Well, I hope I haven't scared you too much with the cons, because the pros certainly outweigh them to me. Maybe think for yourself, should I work for somebody else? Or can I work for myself? Think for yourself, maybe am I cut out for this? Do I want this? I know that there are certain people that could be public speakers full-time, but they have decided against it because of the lifestyle and the challenges of the cons that it creates. Others have said, oh, I want that, and they've left their job and they've had a successful career. It's truly up to you. What I would recommend that you do is go through the ICM process. And ICM stands for Identify, Clarify, Magnify. I have on my website, if you want to go there and grab this worksheet, it will change the way that you see yourself, and you can identify, clarify, and magnify for yourself if you're right for this. So go to jasonhewlett.com/ICM. We're also going to put it in the description below, a link to it, so you can check it out there as well. But I hope that these pros and cons of being in the public speaking business and in that world have helped you to consider for yourself whether it's right for you.